Goosey and Mav. There's Goose. Yeah. Goose. What are yours? What are your names?
We have a child who named them Lightning McQueen and Cruz Ramirez. Cruz Ramirez is the female car racer in episode 3, in the third. Yeah, she hates this. In the third. She just wants to be there. It's not bad. Yeah. They were named Blink and Wink when we adopted them, which was not going to stick with us.
So it's cool. I mean, ours are named after movie characters also.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, your movie. Well, you know what? Cars is a pretty cool movie. I'm not even going to give you Top Gun over Cars. They're both good movies.
I haven't seen Cars. It's not really my demographic. So
is amazing. Honestly, even as an adult, I was forced to watch Cars. I had a babysitting business way back when in Squamish for a short period of time, and I was forced to watch Cars with a couple of kids, and I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it. And I have officially watched Cars at least 50 times. Oh, right. You look good. You rock the toque well.
Thank you, sir. It's what I do.
It's a good style.
I'm growing the beard out too.
I know you're not. That's not even funny.
Ultra, you're my ultra running consultant.
Yeah, actually, if you really want to get some sponsorship in the ultra space, you're going to have to come up with a point of differentiation, Rob. So you can't just be fast. Okay. You can't just be a one-trick pony. Like, you got a tattoo on your arm. So that definitely, there's bonus points there, but you're going to need to, what are those earrings where you blow out your ears really big?
Oh, some gauges.
Yeah. Those, because you got big eyeballs, you got big dark eyes. So if you put some gauges in there, like, I could really see investing in you at that point. All right. Episode 2. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Bottoms up.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to need to ask for sponsorship from this company that I'm pumping here.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in the hard seltzer, there's space there.
There's money there. I know that.
They're doing all right. They're doing all right. Absolutely.
All right. So this is my COVID haircut. Just by the way, I haven't shaved my head since the end of March, and I can still grow hair, but not everywhere.
Do you usually go with the shaved head? Is that your usual go-to?
I have shaved my head since I was 16, 15. Oh, wow. I've never had this much hair on my head ever in my life. I don't think my parents would recognize me right now, actually.
Huh. I guess I would be in a hat.
I had hair, but I didn't have hair on the, I had hair as a teen. And then I had bouts of having hair as an adult, but it never lasted because I just couldn't be bothered. So I just kept shaving my head. But because I haven't actually had to be seen anywhere other than Zoom calls, I haven't bothered shaving my head. And it was a joke initially because my wife hated it, but now she kind of gets a kick out of it. So we'll see.
When's the last time you shaved your face?
Never. No, I'll lose. Like we just talked about, Rob, off camera here. You got to have a catch. Without the beard, I'd be nothing. I'd just be some balding guy who runs average speed on flat and can go up and down mountains.
I think your catch is, I don't know, you've done some pretty cool shit, man.
So I'm going to put on my Santa hat and we're going to give away 2 draw prizes to keep people engaged.
Not 1, 2.
What are you going to give away?
I'm going to give away, if it's a male or someone who wants this shirt, it's a Lululemon Mile to Marathon branded shirt. Or for the females, it's also a Lululemon Mile to Marathon branded shirt. I hope they're a size small or a large in the men's, and anywhere 2, 4, 6, 10. We don't have any 8s left in the women's. Anyway.
So if you're an 8, don't be guessing for this. So Rob is going to text me a number between 1 and 50. I just texted him a number between 1 and 50. And my draw prize from this tonight will be an Endurance Tap package from Matt and Pat out of Ontario. So Endurance Tap regular and caffeinated. And they just announced a great campaign for 2021 called the Changemaker campaign. And instead, they're going to offer a percentage of sales to organizations that are going to make a difference internationally and Canadian-based, from mental health on out through environmental. So really happy to be associated with a small company, 2 guys in Ontario that are trying to make a difference.
That's awesome. And Endurance Taps, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I would consume those right now if I wasn't getting low on supply.
I put them on my pancakes sometimes.
I put them on snow. Make a snow cone when you're out there.
Well, it's when I become more of a trail guy like you, and like trail consultant for some nutritional advice.
We got to get you into the mountains to find snow. You don't find it out your back door.
Not so much, and I'm okay with that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I sent you my number also. So yeah, so we got
Oh,
some.
no, we guessed the same number.
Oh, that would be awkward.
No, we didn't. It was
I
close
saw your
though.
number. I saw your number, so then it would have been foolish for me too.
So Rob, it's been 7 days and 7 nights. Well, what's gone on in the last week for you?
A lot of running, man. I got to do this. I got to do this 100K. So I've just been putting in some volume. I hit some of my biggest volume of the year in the last little bit. Went over 6,000 kilometers on the year today. So I'm just trying to get my legs ready to go. I've settled on my route. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything. But yeah, basically just putting time on feet, and nothing too crazy. I don't want to hurt myself. I just want to be prepared. So it's not super exciting, but I know your training's been more exciting than mine. So what have you been up to, man?
What was your long run in the last 7 days?
I went 32K on Saturday, which was a bummer. I wanted to go longer, but I was having migraine issues, and I get migraines every so often, and it was just, I tried to run through it and it was ruining my day. So I just went home and lied down in the dark.
Migraines doesn't end well. So getting 20 miles on a migraine is pretty significant, actually. You might be cut out for this ultra space after all.
You know what, man? Like I get migraines. I get usually about one a month, and a bit and I've had them in races before. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I go into the race and I have a migraine, I got to race anyways. So if I have one in training, it's just like, it sucks. It's awful. But it's like, it's literally like your head sucks, but your legs are okay. So you probably I don't perform as well as I'd like to, but I can still do it. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's the reality of life. It's my reality where I have migraines every so often. So yeah, I got to race on it sometimes. So it's brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a terrible thing to have to face on race day, and to have to not just have the unpredictable nature of it all.
Yeah.
Well, nicely done over the last 7 days. 20 miles is still pretty good, even though it wasn't what you were shooting for. That's pretty significant feeling like that.
I've got 12 weeks of 80 miles in my legs, like 80-mile average over the last 12 weeks. That's not a ton, but I think that's enough to get me physically through 100 kilometers.
I think I'm only averaging 30 miles a week of running right now, but I am adding in other cross-training activities such as skiing and whatnot. But interestingly, we talked earlier about Strava aggregating our stats for the year. So Rob's closing in on 6,000 kilometers. I've got 2,700 miles total via I think all disciplines, including biking. But the fun part about it was my vertical profile is at, I think, 680,000 feet of climbing. And with more ski days on the horizon for me in the next 14 days, I'll go over 700,000 feet of climbing this year, which might be a record. It's up from last year. I know that for certain.
That's unbelievable, man. That's so cool. That's so cool. And that's why it's what I love about it. Like, yeah, it's like something I've been more aware of in my transition into looking into ultra and trail stuff is the vert behind things, and realizing when you see like a run with 1,000 meters of elevation, it's like that's a big day of going up and down, right? And you were saying that's your normal, like that's your average run pretty much across your Strava lifespan, is like that's just what you do.
Yeah, my average run over since 2013, it says, is 10 miles in length average for the year every time I run, with an average of 1,000 meters of gain in there. So it's Strava's fun, right? It's fun to get a service that aggregates stats so beautifully like that. So in the last 7 days since we spoke, I've gotten in 1.5 quality workouts. I had a really good workout on Sunday. It was 14 by 400 at the track. And I felt really solid on that workout. I was really pleased with how legs, body, mind, lungs were all lining up. And a week ago today, on Wednesday last week, I was in the middle of a really good workout, and it was a tough one. It was long intervals. And I have done most of my running on this farmland area in Chilliwack, where there's long flat stretches of road. And one of those roads, called Prairie Central, has a very small lane. It's about, it's a half-size bike lane, but it is a painted solid shoulder. Pardon me. And I've run towards traffic for a month doing this. I've probably put in 10 to 12 hours in that region. Every car that drives by is super respectful. Some people get all the way over to the other side of the road. I've never had a problem. I've never had a close call. I've had a couple of people that don't yield too much, but it's never been a big deal. And in the middle of my third interval, I was, there was a big truck coming straight towards me, dragging a trailer right down the middle of the lane I was running in. And I thought, okay, this person hasn't seen me yet, but he's about to see me. And I looked up and looked this guy right in the face, and he looked right back at me and didn't flinch and continued to drive this trailer directly where I was running at that point. So I had just enough time to jump out of the way, and then I slipped off the side of the road in the mud and basically was running full on and came to a full stop on my hip and my right leg and rolled down the shoulder and had road rash down my body, and was just kind of aghast. Never would have thought, never would have believed that anyone anywhere, but yeah, that happened. So I popped back up full of adrenaline, didn't even realize I was really hurt at that point, just stood in the middle of the road with my arms in the air, just being like,
Yeah.
what the heck, man? What the heck? Like, you can't pretend you didn't see me. You looked right at me. Unfortunately, I was as far away from my start point as possible. So it was a long stretch getting back out because I did get a swollen ankle and a little bit of damage. But I do my utmost to not let something like that ruin certainly my day or multiple days. I was obviously angry and frustrated. I managed to have a good download session with my wife and managed to shelve it and move on. Filed a police report. Police followed up, which I was surprised by because it was an online filing, and basically said, thank you for filing it. There's nothing they can really do at this point, but it is what it is. So that compromised that workout and the next few days as I had some ankle swelling. But by Sunday, I was good to go. I had a little bit of foot pain from a bit of bruising there, but nothing significant. So thankfully, it could have been a lot worse, and it wasn't.
Yeah, man. That's so frustrating, and it makes me so angry. And also, you were having a really good workout, so it's like even worse. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, and it's just, yeah, like you said, it's 99.9% of people are respectful, but all it takes is that 0.1 with a friggin' truck, and it's game over. So
yeah,
scary.
it was crazy to think that someone was doing that on purpose, and I really wanted to give the person the benefit of the doubt, but it was very clear that they didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. And you and I had a fun dialogue about it afterwards, and how much more dangerous the roads are proven to be than the trails. And essentially, it came down to the fact that bears don't drive trucks, and if they did, we'd all be in trouble.
Yeah, man. Well, that's awful. I'm super happy that you managed, like, you came off it with some only road rash,
Yeah,
right?
me too. Absolutely.
We were worried about your ankle then, but then you crushed your workout on Sunday, which is good. And that just kind of goes to show it's like, this happened. That workout was kind of compromised, obviously, as a result. But it's just like, all right, on to the next one. On to the next one.
Yeah.
So consistency over time. And I'm happy that your legs have held up over the second set of 400s. Because when we first started, I remember you did the 200s, and you're like, yo, man, what the hell's going on? I did like 10 200s, and I can't walk. What's going on? So what has changed, do you feel, in regards to, now you can handle these 400s?
Yeah, I was scared about that work. I was excited about it, like fully excited, but also scared of like, I've never done 14 laps of the track interval style. And what's changed is that first month was really adaptation in my body. I knew that my workouts were never representative of my fitness. They were representative of lack of muscular specificity and endurance. And it was a struggle through that first month. And now I finally got to a point where, yeah, I still get sore after workouts, and I still have to do my homework. I call it at the end of the day to be able to do the workouts again. But when I'm out there, I was on my 11th of 14 intervals before my calves really started speaking to me. And that was good. That was fine. I expected it to be worse. And recovery tools. So we talked about this. This is the stick, the rolling stick. And for me, calves have always been the thing. So I have to take this torture device to my calves and peroneals, the meat on the shin. And I only have to spend 5 minutes once a day at the end of the day. But that 5 minutes feels like an hour and can get skipped sometimes from just being lazy. If I do this for 5 minutes a day on my calves and really get in there and bite my tongue and want to cry, that pressure releases, and it releases really nice over a few days. So that device has really allowed me to continue. And then my hamstrings get a little tight, and it's just a matter of doing a little stretching routine. So yeah, adaptation.
Dude, the stick, I feel like the stick was like the original in like the self-care recovery product. and it's stood the test of time because they're brilliant. They're so good.
You're
And
absolutely right. I worked around retail at the time, and this was ahead of its time for what it was. And I've had this stick for, I think, 14 years, like at least a decade. It's stood the test of time, both literally and figuratively, for the brand. So with you, I mean, you're doing big volume now, so there's got to be unique stresses on your body for that, and certainly cardiovascular load. So what do you end up having to do differently, or maybe not differently, but for recovery?
yeah, I've always adhered to like proactive recovery. Like rather than be reactive, be proactive. Like so, I always
Rehab,
try to
rehab.
stay on my mobility, have a strong core. I've got really wonky hamstrings. I've had wonky hamstrings my whole entire career, so I know I got to make sure my glutes are strong. I got to make sure my hip flexors are loose before I can even get up the door. But then for recovery, I have one of those those hypervolts.
Do you find they work?
They help with knots and stuff.
Okay.
Absolutely. And
They
I
seem like a
also,
phenomenal device. They are expensive.
they are, fortunately, I was gifted one from 360 Athletics
Nice.
and also Lululemon. I actually had two at one point. um, and I also have yeah, double barrel. And I also have and I also have a set of the Air Relax boots. Which are
Oh
like,
yeah, those things are great. I've only used those through public availability, but yeah, I think they're a solid investment. I've always contemplated but never committed, but 100% they make a difference.
the Air Relax ones are great because they're like the Normatec, but they're a lot more affordable in terms of a price
Oh,
point. So
educate me.
Pardon?
Educate me. What's like retail on those? I'm not familiar with the non-Normatec version.
Oh man, I think they're only like $600.
Which, and when he says only, the Normatec are a couple of $1,000s. So that is like a legitimate only.
Yes, and I should say I was also gifted the Air Relax. So from 360 Athletics.
All you need to do to get gifts like this is run a 1340 5K, break 15 minutes for 16 straight years, and break 2:13 in the marathon, and gifts just come aplenty.
There you go. It's easy. But also, so those are the gadgets and things like that. But like anything, recovery, sleep a lot. The best thing for runners to do to recover is sleep, stay hydrated, eat well, and always make sure you're only training as hard as you can recover from, right? It's because it's equal, right? You have to recover. Recovery is so important. It's so overlooked. So you can only train as hard as your body can recover, because otherwise you're gonna burn out, you're gonna overreach, you're gonna hurt yourself. So the easy things before you even go to the tools: sleep, hydrate, eat well. Those are what your body needs, and then everything else is gravy.
100%. Yeah, couldn't agree more. We're going to wrap this in 60 seconds. Yeah, priority number one is sleep with the recovery side of things. I have a 5-year-old, and through the first 6 months of having a child's life, you don't get to sleep much. And that 6 months, I ended up in an overtrained state because I wasn't doing anything different other than not sleeping 8 hours a night. And thankfully now with a 5-year-old, I get my 8 hours of sleep a night. And that is priority number one. And with coaching people, you and I both know that's one of the considerations we always have for the stress load that they can maintain is what's the stress outside of that, and what's the recovery from sleep looking like.
Yeah, we don't exist in a bubble, right? We got to make sure our training fits in with life, and life has all sorts of stuff going on. So make sure running fits in with that, and you can recover and you can rest, because when you train hard, you got to train hard, but you got to rest hard too.
Totally. All right. Last thing. What's your big workout for this week?
Tomorrow I'm gonna do a double. So tomorrow I'm gonna do 20 kilometers at 3:30 a K. And then on Friday I'm gonna do a 20 miler, and then I'm gonna start to taper, man.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming up quick for you. It's coming up quick for me, and I have a bit longer than you do. My workout tomorrow, which was supposed to be today, but I was feeling gassed entirely the last 2 days. So you have to make micro adjustments. I started my workout. I knew within 60 seconds of the interval that I had to pull the plug. So tomorrow's workout will be It's 3 by 2 miles, 5 minutes recovery, and it'll start with a 5:42, 5:40, and 5:36-ish, hopefully, for the 6 miles of total intervals. So we'll
Yep.
see how that goes tomorrow. I'll get another interval session in on Sunday, and then you and I will connect again in 7 days. And the way to try to win these draw prizes is it'll go in sequential, in order. First person to guess the number that I texted Rob and that Rob texted me wins the corresponding draw prizes.
Woo! Yes. There you go. Bada bing,
All
bada
right.